In their ramshackle hut on the edge of the woods, a husband and wife were in despair. The woman had just given birth to their 13th child, and the growing family was quickly running out of food and money. The father walked into the woods to ponder their problem. After hours spent wandering through the trees, he encountered two shadowy silhouettes. Silhouettes. The first figure appeared to be the man's god, while the second resembled the devil. Both, both figures offered to lighten the man's burden and act as godfather to his most recent child. But the man refused their offer. He wouldn't entrust his son to those who pass judgment on human life. He ventured deeper into the tangled thicket. Here in the darkest part of the woods, the father made out a third figure. Sunken eyes stared out of its gaunt face, which broke into a crooked smile. This was Death himself, come to offer his services as godfather. He promised to return when the child came of age, to bring him happiness and prosperity. The father, knowing that all people are equal in the eyes of death, accepted his offer. Years later, when the child had grown into an ambitious young man, his skeletal godfather came for his promised visit. In his nar- gnarled, gnarled hand, he held a flask containing the cure for all human ailments. Death had brought this flask for his godson, promising to make him a successful doctor. But the powerful potion came with very strict rules. If his godson encountered a sick person and death was hovering at the top of their bed, the doctor could heal them with just a waft of the antidote's bombs. But if death lingered at the foot of the feet, he'd already claimed the pension as his own, and the doctor could do nothing for them. In time, the doctor's potent, posh, patent potion and uncanny instincts became known throughout the land. He grew rich and famous, casting off the hardship of his early life. When the king fell ill, he summoned the famous physician to treat him. The doctor swept into the palace, ready to show off his skills. But when he entered the king's chamber, he was dismayed, dismayed to see death settled at the foot of the bed. The doctor desperately wanted the glory of saving the king, even if it meant deceiving his godfather. And so he swiftly spun the bed around and reserved Death's position, leaving the doctor free to administer the antidote. Death was livid. He warned his arrogant godson that if he ever cheated Death again, he would pay for it with his life. Death and the doctor continued their travels. After some time, the king's messengers came to collect the doctor yet again. The princess was gravely ill, and the king had promised incredible riches to anyone who could cure her. The doctor approached the princess's chamber with gold in his eyes, but, but upon seeing the sleeping princess, his greed fell away. He was so struck by her grace that he failed to notice death lurking by her feet. He swiftly healed the princess, but before she couldn't even utter her thanks, Death had dragged his love-sick godson away. In an instant, the palace dissolved around them. The doctor found himself in an immense cave, lined with countless quivering candles, each representing the duration of a life. As punishment for his godson's foolish attempt to master mortality, Death whittled his candle down to its wick. Seeing his own dwindling flight, the doctor felt the fear he'd often glimpsed in his patient's eyes. Desperately, he begged Death to transfer his dying light into a new candle. His godfather considered the request, but the doctor's betrayal was too great. He loosened his bony grip, and his godson's candle fell to the floor. Death stood motionless, his unscrutable face fixed on the sputtering flame, until all that was left of the doctor was a wisp of smoke.